Okay, so here's something I'm really passionate about. When you're trying to learn a new tool, something that's really complex, but also like really promising, it holds a lot of potential creative power, something like Godot, it can be really scary to have a blank slate like the one on the screen behind me. This can be really intimidating because I don't even know where to click or how to begin. I don't know. I see a bunch of panels on the screen. They're all empty. I see a play button that's not going to help me because I haven't built anything yet. And I just don't know where to start. And so I don't know how long I might last without anything to help me get going. So when I'm exploring things like this, one of my favorite things to do for myself or for learners is to start with something that is already partially built and that has a kind of a sandbox feel to it that I can play around with pre-existing things that I'm learning from as I look at how they were built. And I'm also seeing I can make changes and affect what's in front of me without having to see this screen. So, just comparing that to this now, where I can, first of all, the play button, I can play right away. What is this thing that's in front of me? And now when I hit that and I go full screen, I get an actual game that I can explore. A platformer where I can collect coins. I see some bad guys. And it's limited. It's not a full game, but I can see already what's possible and I can play. So that's functional enough that I can have fun playing, which is going to, in me doing that, it's going to activate my creative brain and make me think, well, what would I want to change about this though? Because it is limited, right? And so that's where the other cool part of this is when you have something like this platformer, its design is to be more moddable. For someone who, for all of these things on the screen behind me is super overwhelming, how can we sort of help someone to hook into or access a game so that they can see themselves in it? They can change components, mod it. Well, over here, if I'm looking at the nodes, some of these have been custom built where you take something like game logic, for example, and this top section here, we've teased out very sort of high level things that can change the challenge or rules of the game. How do you want to win? What does it mean to collect coins? Is there a time limit? That could change the feel of the game for the players. And all of these things can be done without any code now, and they can just be done there in the inspector. So even though it's still a little bit overwhelming, there's all these panels, I've removed the complexity of having to know GD script for now while I explore game design and game making first. So, and you can do, now that there's all these other nodes in there, or these scenes, I can click on a coin, and I may not have known how to make that myself, but I can certainly hit duplicate and get my own version of the coin, which has all the same properties as the others, and move that around the screen and change the game. So I didn't have to go in there and understand that a coin is made up of an area 2D node, a sprite node, a collision node. How do I use those? How do I save them? You can get there, but at first you can build right away based off of the existing components in the game. Another really cool thing is if I wanted to change the visual aspects of this game. Tile maps are really powerful, and we've got one here that's already got the sort of physics layers that go onto the tiles. It's got all of that built in. It's even got some patterns here that I could reuse for bigger platforms. Again, another way for me to sort of quickly be about modding the game and game making rather than being overwhelmed by the tool. And the idea for me is if I'm doing this, or if a learner's doing this, I'm going to get to the point in my creation of a new version of this game or a new level where I now want to learn something new to make something very specific happen in my game, because I've got this on-ramp into the game. I've got this ability to change things. So I'm more engaged. Yeah. Oh, also I said the visual aspects, not just the world itself, the tiles, but if I click on the tile map, I can go to quick load, again, no code, and see all the different tile sets related to the tile map. So I can change the visual aesthetics of the tiles themselves, or I can go to the background. This isn't normally this easy to find. So now I can change tint. It's right there for me. I can match it to the tiles. It's really fun. This is a great way, and very, very quickly, I could make an elaborate level, and all because I had something to work with to begin with. And I had some properties in the inspector that were a little bit more natural language. Win by collecting. Okay, how many coins to win? Got it. I don't need to know code to understand. That's what that's telling me.